Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome. I hope you guys are having a great day, as usual. It's already Friday. It's the 22nd. If you guys are seeing this, no, it's the 23rd for you guys. It's almost Christmas, baby. And what better than to watch a little bit of Brice Rhodes, a little bit of the trial before Christmas? You know, doesn't that just sound like Christmas to you? Not playing. But I'll tell you one thing, his Christmas is not going to be that great in prison. Anyways, we're moving straight into the detective that, he did a deep dive in the whole situation. I believe he found the kids, the remains of what they looked like, all of that. So it's going to get pretty emotional. It's going to get pretty crazy. We have Bandage Head Brice Rhodes right here. I think they called him Beady Head Brice or something like that. One of you guys in the comments called him like Beady Head Brice. I swear to God, something. Yo, they did a number to the back of his head, whoever did that. But anyways, people, let's get straight into this thing. Get the popcorn. Get the things you guys need. You know what I mean? Let's get straight into this. Let's get straight into the video. Go follow the Patreon. Go follow the Instagram. You know what I mean? Let's go check this out.
To report. Perfect. Your next witness.
Calls Detective Aaron Tonelli.
Detective
Tonelli,
Aaron
when you are
Tonelli.
ready, I'll have you raise your hand. Do you swear to tell the truth and the whole truth? Thank you.
Damn. That's a big file right there, sir. You already know he came to play. He was like, yeah. This is all the shit we got to talk about today.
Yes, I know it's still warm in here. They say they're working on it. If anybody needs to take their jacket off or anything, of course, feel free to do so.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself to the jury.
Detective Aaron Tonelli. Tonelli, Tinelli.
Where do you work?
Louisville Metro Police Department.
How long have you been there?
Approximately 18 years.
And how long have you been a detective?
Approximately 12 to 13 years.
Where are you currently positioned?
Currently in the robbery unit.
Where were you in 2016?
I was in the homicide unit.
When did you
Damn, he a detective for 13 years. First started off in the homicide unit, went to the robbery unit. Bro is out here doing that work. I'll tell you what, he doing that work. I'm sure you need a few drinks after this shift, man. Shit, coming from homicide, he probably left homicide because it was too, after a little while, it's like, you know what? Let me take a break. Let me go do some robberies or something, Shit.
switch from homicide to robbery?
The last part of 2017 going into 2018.
Can you describe a bit how the homicide unit works as far as case assignments and distribution of cases?
Okay.
Yo, he's nervous as hell. The way he's stroking his beard, man, ew. Swear to God, it looks like a collection of pubic hairs. I don't know. Just the way his beard grows is just yuck, bro. Yuck. Look at the back of his head. Man. Anyways.
At that time, we had, it seemed like a large unit, but it really wasn't. It was like 24, 25 detectives, somewhere in there. But it was kind of split down the middle. Part of it was non-fatal shooting. The other half was what we call the fresh side or the homicide side. And you had a rotation where detectives would run a list, and as you picked up a case, the next person would move up, and the next person would move up, and then that case would go to the person as it goes down.
And it's fresh to distinguish from cold case.
Yes, ma'am.
So on May 22nd, 2016, was it your turn?
Yes, it was.
And do you do all the work on the case by yourself?
No.
Okay. How do you all decide who pitches in to help?
It's all hands kind of evolution, basically. Yes, there's a lead detective. And yes, that lead detective is what I'm doing today, trying to explain the case the best they possibly can so that you can understand the functions of it. But while you're investigating, everybody that's available that can help does help and does contribute to the case.
So you have a lead detective for every single case, but then everybody just kind of hive minds this, hive mind that, hive mind this, go help him, go help him. That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart because there's only 25 of them. So, and I mean, these are high level detectives. These aren't just like beat cops running around doing fuck all. You know what I mean? It's like these dudes, I'm pretty sure, like at this point, they're legit. You know, you make detective, you're legit. So you have 25 legit people working on a case. Yeah, some shit will get done, you know, theoretically.
And do you have supervisors within the unit? Who was your supervisor?
My supervisor on that day was, at the time, Sergeant Donald Burbrink.
And then who was his supervisor?
Lieutenant Kessinger.
And is he in charge of all of homicide?
Yes.
So what happened on May 22nd that alerted you to the existence of this case?
I received a phone call from Sergeant Burbrink that we had a homicide in the 4,000 block of Road Park and that I was to respond to that location.
And how did Sergeant Burbrink know about the homicide?
I believe he was notified by Detective Vance.
What happened or what time did police find out about this case?
I believe we were notified at 12:10 in the afternoon,
And what time did you get there?
around 12:45.
Okay, what did you do at the scene?
As soon as I got to the scene, can I refer my notes? Thanks. If need be.
Yeah, if you can't remember something in particular.
Thank you. First thing I did is I got to the scene and I spoke to Detective Vance and Sergeant Burbrink about what we were actually looking at and what we had before us.
And go ahead, sorry.
Oh, and other detectives that were there, you know, trying to understand the totality of the circumstances walking into a situation like that.
What did you notice about the neighborhood?
Well, it was residential houses all around. There were some kids playing on the other side of the alley. Just a residential area.
Did the house appear where the bodies were found in that house appear to be occupied?
No, the house appeared to be vacant. The grass was overgrown, front and rear. Boards were on the windows.
And how did police? Do you know how police even knew those bodies were there?
They got a dispatched run to the location, being notified by a individual in the area.
Who do you all involve another agency when there's a death?
Yes.
And who is that?
Man, so wait, he put the two boys by a house? I thought he put them in dumpsters. Like, we're going to get deeper into this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I thought it was dumpsters now.
Well, in this situation, obviously we notified the coroner's office because they have to respond. And we, the people on scene before Detective Vance, I believe called for arson because there were signs of burning and so forth. We also notify CSU. We also notify, the coroner notifies TIES.
And TIES is the transport agency we heard about earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
So how many personnel from all of these agencies ended up on the scene, would you say?
I couldn't guess, but a lot.
What did you note about the bodies?
Upon approaching the children, first thing we noticed is that they were laid out. There was no sign of like a struggle or other signs that there was like some kind of disturbance within it besides the actual bodies themselves and the actual burning of the bodies. So the first thing I noticed is that there's a good chance that they were not killed there or murdered there.
Damn, like, man, the detective brain is already. Yeah, bro. See, I would have just saw it and completely freaked out, like, you know what I mean? Fucked up my whole month, year. You know what I mean? But him, he was like, yeah, they probably weren't killed here. That's crazy. Shit, I would not even be thinking in that frame of mind.
Did you have any way to identify them at that time?
No, we did not.
Damn.
Did you or other detectives search the neighborhood for any clues?
Yeah, other detectives canvassed the neighborhood. talked to individuals in the neighborhood, and spoke to several different people.
Did you look for cameras?
Yes, all the detectives that were on the scene at the time looked for cameras, looked for not just like business cameras and stuff like that, but they looked for house cameras. Some houses have cameras and stuff like that. They looked all over.
Were there any cameras that helped out?
Oh, man.
Given that did the coroner direct the bodies to be taken to the medical examiner's office?
We did.
Okay. What's left for you all to do at that point?
Oh. Well, at that point, since we have unidentified victims, our job is to gather as much information as we possibly can. Detective Vance was going to handle the scene investigation. Other detectives were canvassing. I was trying to organize the situation, and we were trying to, in any way, shape, or form, identify these 2 kids that were in the back of this house that were murdered.
Does LMPD have a unit that deals with missing people?
Yes. I contacted Detective Hogan, who was at the time was in the missing persons unit. I instructed her to go through missing persons, go through the database, the local database, the national database, to try to help to identify or get a.
But see, he took them out so quick. There's no missing persons or nothing. You know what I mean? There's none of that can actually. Oh wait, or maybe they did put out a missing person. Let me not speak too soon, but I'm assuming that there's no database for these 2 kids because they went missing for like 2 days. So it's like that's gonna take some time.
Some kind of parameters with the visual inspection of the 2 kids. So you're looking at these 2 children and you're trying to guess age, you're trying to guess weight, you're trying to guess all these things to give her as much information so that she can go to these databases and try to get you a range of possibilities, which is extremely difficult.
At that time, did you all identify any possible people they could be?
A list was started, and I know that she gathered that information, but not on that day. It wasn't until the next morning that we got that list.
Okay. So the next day, did you attend the autopsies?
I did.
And what did you observe at the autopsies?
Man, you have to. I like how she said, "Did you attend the autopsy?" Like this is this is something to attend. Like, did you have to go to the autopsy? Is how I would have asked it. Damn, I guess you're a detective. You guys see that shit as they cut them open and look inside and look under and over. Like you're just gonna be right there. That's a little too much for me. That's the reason why I'm not a detective. Even though if I could get over that, it would be a pretty interesting job, man. But then you gotta go through police training. You have to be a beat cop. You have to get shot at probably more than I don't know, man. That's a bit much. Shout out all the police officers out there who really are just with that life, just about that life. Shout y'all out.
Kids were laid out. You observed just the several wounds to the upper torso, lower torso, and genitals. The strap that was on one of the victims that presumptively restrained them in some way. The burning, the charring, and the other factors.
And were fingerprints attempted?
They were attempted I refer to my notes because I don't want to speak incorrectly. I believe fingerprints were attempted at the scene and again at the autopsy only because the fingers were charred so badly. So I do not want to misspeak about that, but I believe it was attempted at both locations.
Okay. Did you come up with another idea for identifying them?
Yes.
Man, obviously the 2 kids were going to go missing for a long time and they were probably going to put 2 and 2 together eventually. But with that burning, I think they may have did something right with burning them because it took detectives a minute to figure out what was going on. That's crazy, bro. This guy, I swear to God, every time I'm gonna come back to Brice Rhodes, he's just an immature little weirdo. I promise you, he's not a gang member. He's not a street kid. You know how street kids, they just grew up that way, and it's like, never had mom and dad. They're just rough around it. He's none of that shit, bro. He had his mommy living in his apartment, driving a friend's car, bro. He's just weird. You know what I mean? He's a weirdo. One of the weird kids that probably couldn't hang out with people his age, so he had to go hang out with these fucking children. Stay away from people like this.
So, anytime you have a child that's been, there's the possibility of them being fingerprinted it's minute. So I came up with the idea that we would contact one of our CSU techs that was also a forensic artist. That's CSU tech Aaron Wright. And I asked her if she could do a rendering of the two kids so that if we had to put that on the news or someplace else to have the community help us identify these kids, that we could use them.
Forensic
She
artist.
agreed. And
damn, so she reconstructed the pictures. That's how they found them? That is some CSI shit right there, if that's what they did.
we took photographs of the kids as they were, and she began her renderings.
Oh, that's some CSI shit right there. And especially with AI nowadays, they'll probably boom, that's the person you're looking for. And we're like, damn, okay. Did that work though? Did that work?
Photographs on the news.
Squad, did that work? Put it in the comments before you continue from here. Is that what happened? If you know, if you're not sure yet, if you already know, don't answer.
Nobody needs to see that on the news. If that's your child. To see that for the first time would be, yeah, I'm a dad. That would be devastating. I couldn't do that.
Were the sketches put on the news?
Yes.
And did that result in any leads?
Damn, he's getting mad. I mean, shit. I get emotional too, especially if I had kids and you see some shit like that. He's getting super emotional. That shit. This is the type of shit that leads officers into drinking and doing all this crazy extra shit, because they, like, I feel like there should be like some sort of a, after so many years in homicide or after so many years in this department where it's like super vigorous, like switch them out. You have to switch out, do something else, buddy. You gotta switch out. Maybe you could come back in another 5 if you want to, but go do something else, because this is some heavy shit.
Were the sketches put on the news?
Yes.
And did that result in any leads?
Yes, actually it did. Excuse me. The next day, the 24th, we gathered together in the office to come up with because we still hadn't identified the bodies. And we came up with a game plan. And one of the things that came up with was the fact that we had gotten a tip from Olmsted Middle School that the assistant principal thought she knew who the kids were from the renderings that we had placed on the news. So with that being said, she gave Detective Spaulding the information, and Detective Spaulding went to the school, and me and Sergeant Burbrink went to the location that was given to her by the assistant principal at the school.
A location, do you mean address of the children?
Yes,
Okay.
where they lived.
And what was that address?
I know it by heart, but unfortunately I'm a little, I apologize.
Okay. All right, going through those notes.
4817 Cliff Ave.
And what neighborhood is that in?
It's next to Iroquois and next to the south end of Louisville.
Who was there?
Miss Elizabeth Wren.
Did she have other family members present?
She did. There was another individual there, TJ, who was her brother.
Did you show her the sketches?
And Sergeant Burbrink went up to the mother, started to ask her relative questions without having to show her the picture of her dead children.
I'm sorry, did you say it was her brother that was there with her?
I believe it was her brother, yes, TJ Wren.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
So once we got the feeling that this could possibly be the mom, I asked Sergeant Burbrink if I could show a picture, an actual photo of the deceased child.
Oh,
and
shit.
She was able to positively identify her children.
Oh, wow. He showed an actual photo. What the fuck? I thought he just said he didn't want the parents to see that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's something you would never want to be faced with. I pray I never have to deal with something like that. Because, man, I go down to that courthouse, and let's just say I take care of business. Oh, shit. I don't know what else to say. We going to take care of business that day.
Did you interview her?
Yes.
And at the station eventually?
Yes.
Okay. And did you all interview TJ?
Yes.
Did you gather enough information that led you to the next step?
Yes. Once we interviewed those two individuals, we gathered the possibility of suspects, and then we started our investigation moving forward. And this is when things started to move very quickly.
So where was the first place you headed?
The first place we went to was to Brice Rhodes' residence.
The first person, bro. He was the first suspect. You know what that means? He was never going to get away doing some crazy shit like this. He should have just never did it. You know what I mean? And just take the charge if the boys snitch on you. That's what he should have did. Life would have been better for him. But he goes ahead, scars himself, because I know his soul is just screaming and crying down there. Deep down, it's not a pretty place in there. I promise you, it's not a pretty place. That whole facade he's setting up, doing the chin stroke, bro, his soul is crying. And then he scars the entire family. Man, yeah, no, he's a dumbass. Real small-brained child, this one.
To confirm the location of 763 North Height, which we, at the time, didn't know, but the brother of Elizabeth Wren, TJ, was able to show us the location.
And is that what Sergeant Vance testified about earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Were you with Sergeant Vance?
No, I was not.
Were you still with Elizabeth Wren?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on where you are?
Okay, so where we're at, we're trying to gather as much information as we can. We're also did a consent search of the location to see if there's any possible evidence located at the house.
Did you locate anything?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. And trying to organize that, and then informing other detectives of what we had at that location, and that we have confirmed the identity of the two children. So then we move to talking to people and trying to get as much information as we could and gather that.
Okay, so Sergeant Vance heads over with TJ to Heights.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you all talking back and forth while this is going on?
Nah, me and Sergeant Vance are not talking. Sergeant Vance is talking to Sergeant Burbrink and stuff like that, only because I am more focused on the information that we're gathering at the house.
And who were you with?
I was with Sergeant Burr. Oh, who was I talking to, or who was I?
Well, who was present at the house with you and Elizabeth Wren?
Oh, Sergeant Burbrink, and then we had other detectives that showed up.
Okay. And as we heard earlier, Sergeant Vance was also with other people, correct?
Yes.
Were you notified that the defendant was picked up at the Speedway?
Yes.
Okay. What happens then?
I leave the location that I'm at, which is on Cliff, and I head back to the office to help to orchestrate the interview.
And we'll get to that in a second. What did Miss Wren give you information about her son's phone?
Yes, she did. One of the questions we asked, which would be a question you would ask any parent, is why didn't you file a missing persons or contact the police. And she had stated that she had been in contact with one of their friends, and their friends had said that they were out to the store and he was using their phone to call when they get back. And that information led us to another part of the investigation.
Did she provide you with a phone number?
She did.
And were you able to do anything with that phone number?
Yes, we were able to take that phone, considering the information that we had from the house and the fact that a relative time frame of when the kids were last there. We took that phone number and we used that phone number and the assistance of the U.S. Marshals to start pinging that phone and finding out where its location was.
Did the marshals figure that out?
They did.
And is that what Sergeant Vance testified to about going to the location and finding the phone with Mr. Carter?
Yes.
That's so stupid. Why not just destroy the phone? They're so dumbest criminals, bro. Daryl Brooks is amongst one of them. You know, dumb ways to die. This is dumb ways to get caught. Damn, an idiot. You this is an idiot at work. But see, this is an idiot thinking that he's smart. You know, in my opinion, I think people like Daryl Brooks and Bradley Yawn, they know they're idiots deep down, and they're just putting up this facade. But Mr. Rhodes thinks he's really cunning and smart. He actually thinks this. It couldn't be further from the truth.
Did you know what car the defendant was stopped in?
Yes.
And how did that lead in? What did you investigate there with the car?
Well, the black Dodge Charger, what he was stopped in, that information led us to holding that vehicle and using it and searching it and trying to gather evidence from it.
And did you know initially whether that was his car or not?
Not initially. Once we ran it and we understood that it was a rental, then we took that information, found out who the rental party was, and then we passed that information on to other detectives, and they located that individual, Mr. Christopher Jensen.
And is that what Detective Rutherford testified about the direction he took on the case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At that point, did you all find out about another car?
We did.
And what was that?
That was the Mazda 3, blue Mazda 3.
Exactly. You know, why are you renting a car out of nowhere? What happened to your Mazda? Isn't that perfectly fine? What's going on? Nah, there's some problems with the Mazda.
That what Mr. Jensen talked about providing.
Yes.
Was that car also located and held?
Yes.
Is all this going on at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. And where are you?
Now I am back at the office because we have got Mr. Rhodes in custody, and I am preparing to go forward with that part of the investigation.
So did you interview him?
Yes.
Was that interview recorded?
Yes.
Is this all happening on May 24th still?
Yes.
There are a couple of moves to admit and play the interview.
All right, so this is the first half, y'all. First half with the detective. They find Brice. Damn, bro. They find Brice. They find the car they take the car he was using. Then they find the other car. Now, Mr. Rhodes, why aren't you driving the vehicle that you always drive? You know, why are you driving this rental? It is very peculiar, sir. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to find some evidence somewhere in that car. I mean, that's just what I'm assuming. But anyways, people, tap back in tomorrow. We're going to check this out. We're going to finish this. And again, everybody follow the Instagram. Go check it out. Shoot me the info you guys want me to check out for the live videos and for possible actual videos. So, you know, hit me up. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, people, stay inside, stay safe. I'm out of here. Love you guys.